When global capital is increasingly fluid and emerging markets are competing aggressively to attract stable foreign investments, India stands at a critical juncture. And the impact on the Indian rupee could also be substantial. Persistent outflows as erratic investment patterns from foreign investors tend to exert downward pressure on the currency. Friends, critics may raise concern about potential revenue loss for the government. However, this argument doesn't fully capture the dynamic nature of capital markets. Namaskar friends, myself Deepak Kumar Rath. I welcome you all to the digital media of Uday India. In Bharatiyata Ka Sankanad, I will speak about the economic situations in India and how the war has impacted global capital. About all these things, let us speak today because we have spoken so much about Bengal elections. So I thought today let's talk about the economic scenario, investment in India. Friends, you all know that at a time when global capital is increasingly fluid and emerging markets are competing aggressively to attract stable foreign investments, India stands at a critical juncture. The proposal to exempt foreign institutional investors (FIIs) from long-term capital gains (LTCG) tax on equity investments held for more than 3 years deserves serious consideration, not merely as a fiscal tweak but as a strategic economic signal. Such a move could reshape investor sentiment, stabilize financial markets, and reinforce India's position as a preferred investment destination in an uncertain global landscape. One of the most immediate benefits of this proposal could be the potential inflow of much needed foreign capital. India, despite its strong macroeconomic fundamentals, often experiences volatility in capital flows due to global risk sentiment and interest rate cycles in developed economies. By offering LTCG tax exemption for longer holding periods, India could incentivize patient capital investors who are willing to stay invested through market cycles rather than chase short-term gains. So this shift from speculative inflows to stable long-term investments would significantly strengthen the resilience of Indian equity markets. And the impact on the Indian rupee could also be substantial. Persistent outflows as erratic investment patterns from foreign investors tend to exert downward pressure on the currency. Encouraging FIIs to commit their funds for longer durations would help reduce such volatility. A steady stream of foreign capital inflows backed by a clear tax incentive could contribute to a more stable exchange rate environment, and this in turn would have broader macroeconomic benefits that includes better inflation management and improved investor confidence across the sectors. Friends, equally important is the psychological dimension of this reform. Global investors are highly sensitive not only to returns but also to policy signals. A targeted exemption such as this would send a strong message that India values long-term partnership over short-term speculation. And it would create a feel-good factor among foreign investors, reassuring them of policy stability and forward-thinking governance. Domestically too, such a move could boost market sentiment, encouraging broader participation and reinforcing confidence in India's growth story. Friends, critics may raise concern about potential revenue loss for the government. However, this argument doesn't fully capture the dynamic nature of capital markets. The LTCG tax on foreign investors, while a source of revenue, is relatively modest compared to broader economic gains that sustained capital inflows can generate. Increased investment activity leads to higher corporate growth, job creation, indirect tax revenues. Moreover, by setting a minimum holding period of 3 years, the government ensures that only genuinely long-term investments benefit from the exemption, thereby aligning fiscal policy with economic stability. And another critical advantage of this proposal lies in its ability to deepen India's capital markets. Long-term foreign investments can enhance liquidity, improve price discovery, and support the growth of new sectors, particularly in technology, manufacturing, and infrastructure. As India aspires to become $5 trillion economy and beyond, the availability of stable and long-term capital will be indispensable. Encouraging FIIs to adopt a longer investment horizon could complement domestic savings and institutional investments, creating a more balanced and robust financial ecosystem. However, the success of such a reform would depend on its design and implementation also. Safeguards must be put in place to prevent misuse or round-trapping of funds. Clear eligibility criteria, transparent reporting mechanisms, and alignment with international tax norms would be essential to ensure that the policy achieves its intended objectives without unintended consequences. And in conclusion, we can say exempting FIIs from LTCG tax for equity investments held beyond 3 years is not just a tax reform, it is a strategic policy lever. It aligns with India's broader economic goals of attracting stable capital, strengthening the rupee, and enhancing market confidence. In a world where capital seeks both returns and reassurance, such a move could position India as a beacon of stability and opportunity. That's a suggestion from our side. That's all for today. Let's subscribe to Uday India. Thank you for now. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.